In this video, I'm conducting an interview with Eric Schmidt of Schmidt Brothers Backgammon. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. Again, in this video, it's my pleasure to have my good friend Eric Schmidt from Schmidt Brothers Backgammon. Thank you for joining me and welcome.
Hey, thanks, Alex, for having me.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
And you're joining us from near Los Angeles in the Camarillo area. Is that correct?
I'm in Camarillo, which is in Ventura County, just north of Los Angeles.
Yes, it's a beautiful area.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Well, I'm looking forward to talking about backgammon and all the things that you do. I'd like to start with a little biographical information, if I may. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Glendale, California, but my
Okay.
parents kind of moved around a lot. I lived in out in Lancaster, Santa Barbara. A long time we lived up in Running Springs, which is near Big Bear,
Okay, so
San Bernardino.
Southern California mostly,
Yeah,
right?
mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what kind of work do you do or did you do before doing what you do now?
Well, when I was 19, I started at United Parcel Service, and I worked for them for 31 years, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to retire early.
Good.
And now I kind of have a little handyman business where I help mostly seniors in the neighborhood, and I restore old backgammon sets.
Great, great. And are you married? Do you have kids?
No kids. I live with my girlfriend and a couple feisty cats that are probably around here somewhere.
Very good, very good. So that's fantastic. And so how did you first get into backgammon, like playing it yourself?
Well, when we were kids, we played a lot, in the 70s and 80s, just amongst, all the other games that you play. And then, I kind of went to school, I got a job and didn't really play too much, but I played poker with a Tuesday night group every week. And when we couldn't get a game together, we started playing backgammon. And so then, you know how the game is, it's really addicting and it's easy to get caught up in it. And that's how I started really getting back into it again.
That's great. So do you have any other hobbies outside of backgammon other than you mentioned poker?
Well, I do a lot of art. Gina, my girlfriend, does art. I think that's the heart on the wall is one of her pieces. But I do some mosaic work and I do all kinds of, I don't know, I like just getting my hands and learning new things all the time. So, I'm always open to learning new things and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and now you do a lot of work on backgammon boards. I have some videos with backgammon board manufacturers and makers, but what you do is a little bit different. Tell us what Schmidt Brothers Backgammon does.
The majority of the work I do is clients will send me their old sets, something maybe they learned to play on with their dad or their grandma taught them how to play on, but they're, really worn out. Mostly they're the old cork boards, and that old cork gets really chipped up. And after a while, it's really not real playable. They're dirty. And so what I do is I take that old lining out and I put in new linings. I hand paint. I talk with my clients and we'll come up with a color scheme and design, and I'll hand paint on, I use cork fabric, which is, I don't know of anybody else that uses them in backgammon sets, but, and I put brand new linings in them.
I know it's beautiful. I've seen a lot of your work, and we're going to look through some of them shortly. So basically, it's mostly resurfacing the boards, cork boards, and maybe other boards as well.
Yeah, and I'll put on new exteriors too. I use a book cloth to put new exterior wraps on old boards. So whatever needs done, I'll reconfigure things if people want to put in their checkers a different way, or whatever.
How did you first start doing this?
I first started, because I was with my little group of friends we played with, and I wanted to get a set of my own, and so I bought an old vintage Bakelite set, and it was cool. And then I bought a set of 2-inch checkers, those big fat hockey puck Bakelite checkers. But I didn't have a board to do it or to play with them on. And I couldn't find one. And I talked to my brother, which is where we get the name Schmidt Brothers. And he helped me. He's a really good woodworker, and he helped me build. Actually, it's the green set hanging up on the wall here.
Oh, wow.
It's a set for 2-inch checkers, and we designed it so that you could kind of hang it on the wall, and your checkers could be displayed, and it's an art piece too. And so we made one, and then it turned out well, and we made another, and then another, and then a friend wanted me to make some, and we built a few of those. And he kind of retired, didn't want to do it anymore, and had other projects. So a friend of mine had a case that was really beat up, and I said, "Well, let me give you a shot, and I'll try putting a new lining in it." And it just, you do one, and then you do another, and people seem to buy. They get one, they tend to buy another.
Yeah, that's great. So how long have you been doing this now?
Probably about 7 years, I think.
7
Yeah,
years.
probably about 7 years.
Fantastic. So how does it work? Say I have a board that I want to resurface. I would contact you, and I know you have a good Instagram account. So I know we can contact you via Instagram. What's the best way to contact you?
Directly through Instagram is a great way to contact me, or through my email as well is a good way to contact me.
Okay,
And that's Schmidt Brothers, spelled out SCHMIDT Brothers, BROTHERS BG @gmail.com.
okay, I'll put those links in the description.
That's
So
awesome.
when you work with the client, say I tell you, I want this done. So what goes on? What's the process like?
Generally, they'll send the board to me, and the first thing I do is I'll take out any old lining that's already in there. I'll take out all the old cork. I'll take it all the way down to the wood. That way, when I put anything new in, it's nice and it's smooth and gives a real even playing surface. And so I'll do that, and then everybody has a different idea of what they want on a board. Sometimes they'll want it to look the same paint scheme as what was originally in it, and we can do that. And other times people want to branch out and put, pinstripes or, different colors. And the cork fabric I use, we can get any color of it. So it's a really good fabric to paint on, because pretty much the sky's the limit as far as the ideas that people come up with and do.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. So you do the interior surface, some exterior, but you don't do like checkers, cups, dice, doubling cubes, things like that, accessories.
I don't make any. Well, I don't make any checkers. I'll reline dice cups. A lot of times, we'll put a new lining in a dice cup to match the boards. I do a lot of work with doubling cubes, where I source vintage plastic, like the vintage Bakelite. It's got just a special weight to it and just a sound and feel. But what I like to do is I find blank cubes, and I send them out to an engraver who engraves and paints them for me. So I'll do specialty cubes and, vintage material to go with vintage checkers that, people have in their cases.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So approximately, I know everything is different. Approximately how long is the process to resurface? If I send you a board today, like when can I expect to receive it back? What's the turnaround time approximately?
If I have the materials in stock, and I have a pretty decent selection of different colors of cork and paints and everything. So if I have it in stock, usually it'll take a couple weeks. And a lot of that is, because I work real close with the client too, and bounce, drawings back and forth, and color samples back and forth, just showing everybody pictures. Because I really do, the joy for me is in giving customers something, that means something. And almost all of the boards people send me has history and provenance. And so that's where I really dig doing what I do, is getting those old boards back out and being used again. So, the checkers that your mom played with, you can play with them again. That's where I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you can do any size board, is that correct? Or do you have certain limitations?
And I can do any size board. Actually, I played at your club, Gammon Associates, a couple weeks ago, and I brought a board to another client who met me there. And It was just a little magnetic set, the tiny, tiny little magnetic set, an
Yeah.
old Chris Lloyd set. And he said it had been sitting on his bookshelf for decades. And he was just so excited because now he could use it, as a study board or whatever if he was traveling. So that just makes me so happy. And he was so excited to have it back.
Yeah, yeah, great. I had the privilege of meeting you in person at the last tournament, the large
Mhm.
tournament in Los Angeles. Uh, I tell people that by doing these videos, I've had an opportunity to meet so many people around the country and around the world, and I always hope to meet them in person. For you, it's been the reverse. And I already had that pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again, and I'm glad you're able to come to our weekly tournaments too. I've seen a number of your boards both on your Instagram but also in person, and they're just like really beautiful. The things that you do, it's just amazing. And I know a lot of people that have boards that they've been using for a long time, and it's, time for a touch up and things like that. So you're the perfect person.
Oh,
And then the other question people have is, of course, it's going to be variable, but to resurface a board, what's the range in terms of an investment someone would need to make, just so they know?
but it's so hard because every board is different. Sometimes it's real easy to clean them out. You know, I would say just for the simplest of things, the ranges start at probably $200 for the simplest, and then can go up, exponentially as far as how much detail work is in it. I like to paint the edges. I don't know if you notice around the bumpers.
Yes,
A lot of that detail work and all that takes a lot of time and effort. And
right.
everything I do is all hand painted. I don't use any no computers or screening or printing. It's all hand painted.
Yeah, you're an artist.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to go through some of the images from your Instagram, and you can talk about that and
Okay.
tell us about it. So let me go ahead and pull this up. You able to see the screen?
I am.
Okay, so we'll go through. So these are ones I just pulled up, but maybe we can go through them and you could tell us a little bit about these ones.
Well, actually, that's an old Chris Lloyd set that I haven't done anything to yet.
Okay.
Those are the 2-inch checkers that I was talking about. That's that set.
Okay.
So I have plans to do that for my own personal use, but that one hasn't had anything done to it. Those are some of
Okay.
my brother's wood cups that he made, though. Those are beautiful.
Oh, okay. And so what are you thinking you're going to do for this surface?
For this one, I haven't decided. I'm thinking I might go with a dark color surface, maybe a dark gray, and I'm thinking maybe a two-tone green points, but I'm not positive yet. That's just
You feel those
batting around in my own head when I have some free time.
the two-tone points are unique. We'll see some of them. So like this one. This one.
This is the one that I was just talking about that I returned to Daniel at your club meeting. This is
Oh.
just a little magnetic set. So when you're talking about different sizes,
Oh.
these are 1/4-inch checkers, and that last one was 2-inch checker.
Oh, I didn't realize that from the size, but the points, they're green and white, and some of them have like the color on the edge, the yellow or gold,
He
right?
wanted the Daniel wanted the golden points to stand out. So that's
Oh,
those are
I
the 5
see.
points.
Oh, okay. And is this a cork surface? What's the surface here?
That's a cork fabric surface. Yeah, it is.
Ah, okay. So what is cork fabric and how does that differ from cork?
It differs from cork because what they do is they'll take a very thin veneer of cork and they back it on a cotton backing. And so it's extremely durable. I mean, if you took a sheet of cork, you could easily just tear it in half. Where I couldn't tear that piece of cork in half with my hands. I'd have to cut it. It's very durable, very strong. But you
And
still get the look and the feel of cork as well.
and how do you compare cork when you're playing on a board as compared to other surfaces?
Well, it's hard. The old cork sets, it was a sheet of cork and it was put onto a wood or a paperboard backing. And when you'd roll the dice, the cork would dampen the dice a little bit, but there was still kind of a clatter of the dice on it. Where the felt and all the felt, the synthetic fabrics that most companies are using now are very quiet and very smooth. I like to think that like the cork fabric that I'm using is kind of like a cross between the two. It's got a real nice dampening sound, but you still get that. It's a good. It's a difficult feeling to explain, but it has a nice roll. The checkers slide real smooth on it.
Right.
I also back that fabric with another sheet of cork, so it's kind of got double thickness. So it has a real quiet sound and a real
That's
nice
good.
tumble on the dice.
Some of the traditional wooden boards are really loud when you roll the dice,
Oh yeah.
which is good. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I think one
Yeah.
of the important things is how the checkers glide along the surface. Some of them have a lot of friction, but these ones are pretty good, right?
Oh, they're very smooth. Very smooth.
Good, good. So let's see the next one. So this is one that I saw, and it was something in progress, right?
It is. It's funny. This is one that I did where I took out the cork and it was green and white fields. But when I started peeling the cork up, there was another set that was printed on the underneath side. It was probably
Oh,
a second or something bad had happened, so they flipped it over and printed the second side. So
I see.
it just gave a really kind of an interesting effect, the green and the white all in the one. But that's what I do. I'll take it all the way down to the wood,
Uh-huh.
get rid of all that old cork. A lot of times it actually has a smell to it,
Really?
a musty smell.
I see. This
So,
is this is what it looks like when you're taking off the surface.
right. That's the old surface that I've scraped out, and I left it in there just to demonstrate what it is that comes out.
Right, right. Okay. And this was an example of a surface. This is beautiful. Tell us about what you do here.
This is a cork that I'm in the process of painting. So the blue that you see is blue tape, like painter's tape. I get it in sheets and I
Oh,
put it across the fabric. So this fabric was a black fabric, and I put the blue tape over the black fabric, and then I draw out. You can see some of the faint lines from where I mapped out the design, and then I hand cut all that out, and I'll paint and I'll tape and whatever process it is to get the desired effect.
nice. And I see the base of the points that you make are unique. I've seen like some of the talkie boards, they have a curved base. This is almost the opposite of that, a concave base.
Yeah, that's when I like to use that effect. Some people don't like it and want just straight points, but it's one of the things I kind of like. It's this little signature I like to put on it if I
Yeah.
can.
But you could do the straight points too, right?
Oh yeah, I could do whatever design you would want on that.
I like it. It's different. How did you come up with that idea?
Um, I used to some of my early boards. Had a similar design to that, and I would split the triangle down the middle, and I would have a dark and a light half. And where it's curved on these, it would just be a straight angles, so it'd be kind of a chevron shape.
I see.
And then it was just a play on that, doing something different, another, trying to be innovative or trying, just putting something that nobody else has done.
Yeah, yeah, it's very nice.
Thank
Uh,
you.
this is another one where it's like kind of in progress, right?
Yeah, that one's in progress. I rewrapped that entire case.
So you were doing the
I have
exterior?
that one downstairs, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, that one I did exterior, interior, a complete redo on that one.
Okay, very nice. So was this two pieces and there were hinges that you separated or
Correct.
I
Correct.
see.
That's the two halves of a board.
Okay.
And then yeah.
This one's really nice. This is like the almost a two-tone with that little white stripe on each point.
That's correct. That's a board that's at the Venice Backgammon Club has that board. Someone.
And this one, you can see like the base of the points has that curved appearance, and then the edges, the bumpers have the painted portion.
Correct.
That's really beautiful. I've never seen that on any other type of board, and that
Oh,
really
thank
makes
you.
it stand out. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
this is
like to. It is just I like I kind of think of them as flags almost, and they seem to work good together. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. This is one that you resurfaced.
I took the old cork linings out of that. I did the cut. If you look where the checkers are over on the sides, you can see I redid where the checkers and the cups all go as well.
Oh, okay, the checker trays and everything.
Yeah,
Nice. Now I know in terms of the checker trays, here there are three rows of five on each side.
right,
Sometimes some boards will have one single longitudinal row. Uh,
correct.
what are the challenges with that? Because I know sometimes it's a space thing, right?
A lot of times it's a space thing. Sometimes I can get around with getting more or getting rid of some space by moving the that edge piece that's between the playing fields and where the checkers is. I can,
Right.
if I'm redoing the whole board, I can slide that in or out depending and create or take away some space.
Yeah, I'm a little picky in that sense. I find when there's a single longitudinal rack, it's a little easier to bear off. Because if you're
Yeah,
bearing like even numbers of checkers, once you bear off four and you bear off two more, then one has to go in one and one goes into the other.
exactly.
It just takes a
Exactly. And a
too
lot of
much
times
time.
it is just space dictates what you can and can't do.
Right, right, right. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this is a cube. This the cube that was on that board?
That is the cube that, yeah, that's a vintage cube. Didn't do anything with that except supply it. Yeah, and that was his, when he had me do the board, he bought a cube from me as well.
Very nice, very nice. I remember you were telling me about these possible Chouette cubes. I'm gonna talk to you about that.
I
Yeah,
have them at the engraver now. You'll be the
okay,
first to see them when I get them.
okay, okay, good. Let's see. This is a close-up of one. These are blue and green points, right?
Yeah, it's more of a black, but it
Oh,
comes across. That was with the metallic color, and so you get a little shimmer in the paint, which will give it a blue color to it.
and it looks like the field is cork, right? Or cork
Yeah,
fabric.
that's a natural cork color.
Okay. And this one,
That one is in Minnesota.
I like this one because it's different. The points have the yellow line in them, and at the
Uh,
top, sometimes you see circles at the tip, but this one has diamonds, and the base is like the chevron triangular pattern. You were
yeah, the
talking,
diamonds were the client's idea, and that chevron triangle pattern went well with the diamond.
and I feel like it looks really nice because the edges, the bumper, have the painted surface too, right?
That is correct. That's
I,
correct.
I feel like, do you take that out and paint it, or you paint it as it is?
I I take it I paint it and then I trim it and I put it in. I paint it
Oh,
first.
I see, I see. So if you take out the checkers here, you
Uh-huh.
you would remove the surface and you would detach everything and
I
paint
would
those edges?
exactly.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's just I mean it would be way too hard to try to paint along the edges and it's so
Right, right,
I
right.
paint everything first and then I trim it and put it in. I trim it to fit.
So what happens, I know some of the corners sometimes have reinforcements they call like biscuits or something like that.
Uh-huh.
You would take that apart and then put it back in?
No, not necessarily. You mean the corners on the no, I
Corner?
won't do anything with the structure of the case itself.
Oh, but you can take this portion out.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an additional portion. Good.
Yeah.
All right, very nice. What else? This is another one.
That one's in Bozeman, Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, it looks like it's hard to tell from these, but it looks like it's a smaller one with the smaller checkers.
Actually, I
Yeah.
think that's a tournament size board.
Oh, okay.
I know it's deceiving to tell when what sizes backgammon are. It all scales the same.
Yeah, yeah. So the clients usually have their own checkers, right? You
That's
just
correct.
yeah, yeah.
And usually when I'm painting, that's the thing that I work with first with color are the checkers. I mean, that's the most important thing, that the color scheme works well with the checkers that you're using.
Right, right.
So,
Another one. This looks like the old traditional Chris Lloyd ones with the cork and the dot at the tip of the
Yeah.
point.
And that one,
With
it does, it kind of has like the little wings on the side of the paint. That one's also in Venice, California.
nice. I feel like Venice is the place for a lot of these nice
They
colors.
have a great club in Venice. They have, a lot of like a younger kind of crowd, a really exciting, vibrant club.
Yeah,
If
great.
you look at the cube on that one, that was one that I had engraved. So that was a blank cube. I sent it to the guy who does the work for me. He's, he does a lot of great work. And Nick at Save the Gammon.
Save the game. Is he still making cubes?
He helps me out a little bit.
Is he in the United States or is he overseas?
He's in the United States.
Okay, because I remember during COVID he was making a lot of
He
beautiful
does
cubes.
really beautiful work. He pours a lot of resin cubes and made his own cubes, and I'm not sure he's doing that anymore.
I remember there was
He
a supply chain issue or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but he works for. So I'll send him vintage a blank cube. That cube was just a blank piece of plastic. He engraved it and painted it for me.
Very nice, very nice. I'd love to have him on one time.
I could talk to him.
Yeah, that'd be great. Um, and this is another cork one.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the one that was in Bozeman, Montana. Just the lighting's a little different, so
Oh, I see. Yeah, here you can see the sides of the board better where
yeah.
the paint is. That's nice.
That cube as well is one that I had done.
Okay, okay. Let's see another one. I like
That
these
one's here,
colors.
local Southern California. My good friend Jimmy.
Good, good. Yeah, and I think this is kind of nice because the yellow checkers kind of pop out from the
Yeah,
color.
I would
Yeah,
agree. And that's why it's important to have the checkers because you can really get a feel of what looks good. Sometimes, if you paint your checkers too close to the points, you can lose checkers. I don't know if I'm sure that's happened. That's happened to me before. A red checker on a red point, you just miss seeing it tucked in a corner once in a while.
hard to see. Yeah, and I feel like if the checkers are the same color as the field, that makes things difficult too.
Yeah.
Especially when I do a lot of these streaming and commentating, when
Uh,
you're looking at it on a video as opposed to being in person, you
right.
really need the contrast to be able to see things.
Yeah.
And this is designing some of it, right?
That's the process of painting. Yeah. You know, I'm, I mapped out the design onto the fields and now I'm cutting it out and then I'll put down paint.
And what are
And
these?
that's a multi-tone points. So I'll put down a layer of paint and then I'll tape it off and then I'll cut some more and put down another color.
Okay. What are these tools at the lower right?
Those are just X-Acto knives and my straight edge that I use to cut out with
Oh,
my
okay, for
glasses.
cutting. And how do you cut these circles at the tips of the points?
I draw them out and then I cut them freehand with the X-Acto blade.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you look at, especially any curved thing or any part of the boards that I do, if you look at them, there'll be little details that aren't exactly perfect, but you'll see brush strokes and you'll definitely know that it's a hand painted thing. But I work very hard on being precise, but
Right.
there'll be some of those ovals aren't perfect ovals.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Okay. This is another one. I find this one has unique points that are not they're not almost triangular, they're just like almost vertical, and then the tip has a little triangle.
That is the very first board I ever did. That's the one hanging here on the wall.
Oh, okay. That's
That's the very first one I ever painted.
and that cube looks like a Bakelite cube or something, right?
It is not. That's one of Nick's resin cubes. That's the
Oh,
first
wow.
resin cube he ever sold, I believe.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It goes really well. It's an inch and a half cube, so it goes well with those 2-inch checkers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Those are the 2-inch checkers.
They are.
Good. And this was one that I saw. It was like two separate things, but the board itself is on the left and the surface while you were designing it's on the right.
Correct. And so I'll paint it. It'll be like on the right. It's getting ready. It's almost done. So I will put a top coat on that. And if you notice it's a little paler, that's because I haven't put a top coat on it yet. So once I put a top coat on it, that some richness comes out of that cork and you'll see that in the board.
So there's a coat. It's not paint. What is it that you put on top?
It's a polyacrylic top coat, and that really protects the cork. It protects the paint, and it gives a really nice smooth checker. Uh, the checkers really glide smoothly on it.
That's good to know, but because I feel like a lot of people that play are not familiar with everything that goes on in making these surfaces. I
Yeah, and it's really, it takes a lot of work. Yeah, but I mean, I've been every time I do one, I learn something new, and you develop new processes, new materials, and it's a ton of fun.
very good. Okay,
Thank you.
and then this is another one where it was like two side by side.
Yeah, that's just more of the process. Those are some you can see that we're going to paint those edges of the points are going to be one color, and then the centers are going to be another color.
Very good. This is another one. This looks like an old Chris Lloyd board?
It is an old Chris Lloyd one, and I reused that center part where it actually says Chris Lloyd because I refinished the exterior of that, but I salvaged the part that said Chris Lloyd and put it back in there. It looks kind of I thought it looked kind of neat.
Yes, that's nice.
That one's in New Jersey, I believe.
Okay. And this one's beautiful. I put the two images side by side so you can kind of get a close up, but this surface is what is this a cork surface?
Yeah, that's some really nice cherry wood that my brother built the case on that, and that is cork sheeting that I painted on that one. When I first started, I painted on cork sheeting, but that's 1/4 inch thick cork sheeting, very thick. And then I gave that one a rub with some black paint and then a sand, and it kind of gave it almost like an asphalt kind of look to it. But it's real smooth, real nice. I still have that board.
Yes, this one looks like a tabletop board that you don't fold up. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that one. I have that one. You can just see the top of it actually.
Okay.
There's some handles and things on it. Yeah,
Well,
that one it'll hang on the wall too.
nice,
It
nice.
has like a hook on the back or a nail hole actually where you can hook it on the wall and display it.
And the cork on this looks darker than the traditional cork that
Yeah, that has some dye on it.
Oh, so you can dye it to
Yeah, I dyed that cork and then painted on top of that.
Oh, okay. So you can dye it to make it darker or maybe lighter.
Yeah, most of the cork fabric that I use nowadays comes in a wide variety of colors, so I don't have to worry about that. I can
Well,
buy,
that's nice.
yeah, I can buy whatever color I need. Comes from
And
Portugal.
it's hard to tell, but if you were to touch the surface, is it a smooth surface or it
It is
looks
a smooth surface. It's like a smooth, like you would in any other cork board. It would feel like that. The color is deceptive because when I dyed it, it kind of got into the crevices, but not so much on the surface part of the cork. So it that's why you kind of it looks a little speckled and a little rough. But it's a very smooth surface.
the checkers move smoothly? Very
Yeah,
nice. Okay. And this one's another one.
that's my personal board.
Oh yeah, is this the one you had at the
That's the
tournament?
one I had yeah. I have a couple sets of checkers to run with that. Usually I use the green and a white set.
Oh, good. And was this a board you built yourself, or is it like another type of board?
That's a really old one. I'm not sure on the date on it. It's so hard to date old vintage boards and sets. But by the locks, that one's probably from I would say 50s or earlier.
And
I didn't do anything with the exterior. I just put the fields in.
do you know the manufacturer
I
for this?
don't,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I wish I did, and there's so little information.
I have a friend, Albert Stegg, who loves this kind of stuff, learning about the history and things like that. He'd be interested. He might be able to find the manufacturer.
Yeah. I believe I texted him once and he came back to me on that, but I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. So this is another one where the points are multiple different colors.
They are. That one's kind of inspired by American Indian, Native American Indian, the turquoise and the coral,
Yes.
the jewelry that they have.
I remember I lived in New Mexico for a year and they had a lot of those colors.
Yeah. That's kind of what inspired that set.
Very nice. And here's another one.
That's in Santa Barbara.
Oh, so you know where all of them are.
Well, I haven't, I do. I get to know people when I talk to them a lot and I keep in touch with people after they've gotten their stuff back. And It's kind of a passion. So I remember where most of my sets go.
Very nice. Okay. And here's a more of a red one with different colors.
Yeah, that's in Bozeman, Montana as well. What happens is I send a set someplace and somebody else sees it, and I end up inevitably send another one that direction.
Very nice. Very nice. So do most of your clients like the two-tone points, or do they prefer one, or just a mix?
They're all different. Everybody's different in what they want, or they'll see something that I've done and they'll say, well, can we do something like that, except do this instead? And so, it's all different. That's part of the fun too, is I always work on a really personal basis with the client.
Yeah, everything is fully customized.
Absolutely everything.
That's nice. Here's another one, different colors.
That's a little magnetic set as well.
Oh, is it magnetic?
It is, yeah, it is a little magnetic set. Look how those are regular sized dice. Look at those dice.
Oh, wow. So this is smaller. The checkers are
That's
smaller.
tiny, yeah.
So the checkers are magnetized?
Yeah, those have magnets on the bottom of them.
Okay. And then, oh, so if you flip the checkers, you'll see the magnet, or it's the same color?
Correct.
Oh, I see. And there's a magnet under the surface, or how does that work?
There's a piece of sheet metal underneath the surface.
I see. Oh,
And it's funny that the sheet metal are always they're blanks, but they're from like Dole Pineapple Company or Lysol cans or whatever, that they recycling them. So they were misprints probably, and they cut them up and they use them as blanks in these old boards.
yeah.
Interesting fact.
One of my boards that I use a lot, it's the Gammon, and they have this mag fit technology where there's a magnet or there's a sheet of metal and the surfaces can be changed.
Right. That's a good idea. I could easily put that. It's a magnet sheet underneath? I haven't seen one.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. I think they have a patent on it, but
I'm sure.
probably look into it. Yeah, that's one of the things I kind of like about my board, because you could just change the surface and it's almost like having another board.
Yeah, exactly. And that it is. You put a new surface on and it does. This one, it had old red and white points on a beat up cork field, and it just gives it so much more life when you add some color and just something new.
Right. Okay. And that was it for all the boards on the Instagram. You probably have more on the Instagram.
Oh, there's a ton on there, yeah.
There were some. We couldn't see when we had the slides up, that one you were pointing to in the background.
Uh-huh. Which one? This one, the one up top here?
I think
I could bring one closer if you want to look at them closer.
Yeah, sure. That would be good. That one, wow.
Hold on, man. Set it up. So, they're designed to hang on the wall, and they're groove checkers here.
Oh, wow.
But, let's see if we can get some better light on it.
We could see that. That's nice.
Yeah, that's a solid board. But yeah, I only have couple of these left. We only made a small amount, and since Brian doesn't work anymore for me on this.
So you made that board yourself?
This is one of the few that we made this 100%. And if you look, it's under the edge, it's kind of inlaid.
Yes.
Where it's painted edges too. I know the lighting's not that great, but
I could see it.
Yeah. So that's
good.
One of the few I've done.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, those turned out really nice.
Yeah, so you've been doing your marketing mostly on Instagram, right?
Exclusively, really?
That's how you started?
That's how I started, and I don't have a website. I don't have a Facebook. That's really the only place I'm at.
But you still get customers that way?
I get customers. People, you build a following and people like it. And really, I've sold a lot to people who see one in person and they figure out how to contact me and I'll build them one.
Yeah, I feel like, you went to that big tournament.
I did. That was the first big tournament I've ever really been to.
And it's not too far from where you live, so were you able to meet some people that were interested?
I was. Actually, the reason I went there in the first place was I got Frank contacted me,
Yes.
Frank Frigo, to build a board or to reline a board for him. And so I met him there he dropped it off with me there, and he contacted Candace.
Oh,
Candace,
that's
right?
fantastic. Yeah, Candace is outstanding, and
Yeah.
Frank,
And
I've known.
she offered me a table, and I displayed some work and got some work out of that, and it was a really good exposure.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I know Candace has been doing that for some time, organizing the tournament with Patrick. And
Mhm.
Frank, of course, is a two-time world champion. And I had the pleasure of doing a seminar with him at that tournament. Don't know if I think it was the Friday morning. It was an early one, but
Okay.
he talked about his experience winning the world championship and talked about his San Diego club.
Mhm.
We're really happy to have you and your friends join us at the club here in Los Angeles. And I feel like a lot of the people were interested in some of your services.
Yeah, and it's been great meeting all the people, and that's really the funnest part. Is just meeting people, and even just seeing all the different old boards. I just like seeing them, even if I'm not working on them.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things I like about going to the different tournaments. You see different boards, and it's like a piece of art, you know? It's a board that you play on, but
Right.
they're really beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what I really try to walk that line, because I do treat everything as a work of art. To me, it is. But you also have to have them playable.
Of course.
They have to be enjoyable to play on, or they're not going to get used. I feel like Alexandra, the board she makes, Llewellyn? Do you know which
Oh,
boards I'm talking about?
no, I'm
They're
not
wood
familiar.
inlay boards, really just gorgeous, gorgeous work.
Yeah.
But it seemed, the hard surface, it doesn't seem like the dice would be loud, and it just, I don't know, to me.
Yeah. You know, my background is my family is from Iran in the Middle East. All the boards are like that, and that's part of the culture and the tradition, and people like the loud
They
noises.
like the sound, the
But
little
here,
tiny
like,
dice, right?
yeah, yeah, it's fun. So everyone's a little different. I did an
Right.
interview with Bill Shea of Legacy Boards, and his are
He's a
completely
great guy.
unique, and that's just like a piece of art and a piece of
Mhm.
furniture. And I just want like one of those just in my living room, not to play on. So,
Just to look at it, and yeah, it's great.
and you even have like the ones you have behind you. It's almost displayed like a piece of art on the wall.
That's the way we went into it. We wanted it to be on display because it's something that is beautiful, and we spent, we looked for nice pieces of wood to make it out of, and spent a lot of time hashing it out, and it is designed to be a piece of artwork, and maybe we'll get
Yes.
him out of retirement and see if we can make some more.
Yeah, I had the privilege of seeing a number of these in person, and they're they look even better in person than on the images.
Thanks,
So
Alex.
they're fantastic. I definitely recommend them. I know a lot of people who have older boards, so you can help with that because sometimes the manufacturers don't make those kinds of things
Right.
anymore. But you're a great resource, so I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that. Uh, it was great to talk to you about all of your services and see a lot of the images. Do you have any other comments you'd like to share before we conclude?
I don't think so. It was really good talking to you, Alex. I really appreciate it, and I really, really appreciate everybody at your club and down at the tournament. It's just grade A people, everybody.
Yeah, they do a great job. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure to be able to help with them.
Okay.
So fantastic. Thank you very much, Eric Schmidt of Schmidt Brothers Backgammon. Well, go ahead and conclude. I'll put a link in the description to your email address and to your Instagram so people can contact you. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Again, my book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.